Hey guys, Mark here, and this is the Surface Headphones 2 from Microsoft. Clearly the most obvious change here from the first version is the color. They're back in matte black this year, and it looks awesome. There are a few more differences in terms of design, battery life, and a couple of other things that we'll get into in just a bit. But the biggest change, the most important change, is the change in price. When the first version of these headphones released, Microsoft was selling them for $350 US. And at that price, the first version of these were a little bit tougher to recommend. They weren't bad by any means, but they were expensive. These come in at a full $100 cheaper, $250, and for what these headphones offer, I think that's a price that I can much more easily get behind. Inside the box, there's this really nice black carrying case, which is hard-shelled to protect the headphones. Unzipping that, we have the headphones themselves. Aside from the color, the design is almost identical to the previous gen. It's got the same thick and plush ear cups, the same amazing rotating dials for controlling volume and noise cancellation, and what seems to be the exact same headband. The one difference here is that the ear cups do rotate the full 180 degrees this time. Also inside the box is a Type-C cable for charging and a 3.5mm cable for wired listening. The headphones overall do feel as if they'd last a while, and I think the materials at this price point are fine. There is a lot of plastic on the headphones, so they aren't quite what I'd consider premium feeling, but I like the design of these headphones a lot. I think they look pretty modern and sleek. A couple of things to note on the comfort side of things. While the ear pads are very soft and very comfortable, it's worthwhile to note that there's not much padding on the inside here where the drivers are. So if you have ears that are big enough, you might feel that hard plastic underneath. Also worth noting is the fact that this headband, it's not quite as comfortable as some other headsets I've owned. It's fine, don't get me wrong, but over the past couple of days, I found that I've needed to readjust the band just a little bit every couple of hours to keep them comfortable while they're on my head. Minor complaints aside though, I'd be perfectly happy to keep these on for long periods of time, which is good because Microsoft has actually given us more battery life for longer listening periods this time. Something that kept coming up in reviews of the last generation of these headphones is that the battery life just wasn't as good as a lot of other headsets in the price range, coming in at around 15 hours total. The Surface Headphones 2 gets a little bit better at 20 hours this year, which is good, but still less than some other headsets like my Sony WH-1000XM3s that gets around 25 or 30. Luckily, charging speed is pretty fast. 5 minutes of charging is going to give you about an hour of listening time. Now, the way you interact with these headphones is better than pretty much anything else out there. The good stuff starts as soon as you put them on your head. When they turn on, they'll immediately announce how many hours of battery life you'll have left and then tell you which devices you're connected to. Because they have multi-point Bluetooth support, I have them connected to my iMac and my OnePlus 8 at the exact same time, and I can play audio from either of them without losing connection to the other. Also, these dials on either side, seriously some of the most intuitive ways to control headphones ever. Along with the dials are a pair of touch control pads that do the exact same thing on both sides. You can tap once to play or pause your music, tap twice to skip a song or accept a call, tap 3 times to go back a song, and press and hold to decline a call or activate the voice assistant. Below the volume dial on the right side is a 3.5mm jack for wired listening, a USB-C port for charging, the power button, and a microphone mute switch, which is something you don't see very often on a pair of headphones. Another thing you don't see very often on headphones nowadays is a good set of internal microphones for calling. The Surface Headphones 2, however, actually kind of does. Now, don't get me wrong, you're not going to use the microphones in these things for streaming Twitch or anything like that, but my voice comes through nice and clear, and I've asked multiple people what I sound like when I use these for calling, and they all say the same thing. You sound pretty good. The microphones are also used for the pass-through sound feature, and I gotta say, they impressed me here too. Even with my headphones on, my voice sounds natural to me, which again, makes it ideal for phone calls. You don't get any of that plugged ear type sound that comes with wearing closed back headphones and speaking out loud. If you turn the left dial all the way clockwise, the headphones will amplify the ambient sound instead of just pass it through, and you get this slightly strange sounding superhuman hearing. It does sound a bit unnatural, but it does what it claims. It amplifies ambient sound. If you turn the dial in the opposite direction, you'll engage the noise cancellation mode. The noise cancelling built into these Surface Headphones 2 is surprisingly good. Like most noise cancelling headphones, these won't be able to completely block out the sound of people talking, but it will do extremely well with blocking out noises that have little variation in frequency, like the hum of an air conditioner or the sound when you're in a car or airplane. The noise cancellation is good, but not quite as good as my Sony XM3s. These are $100 cheaper than the XM3s, so I didn't exactly expect them to be, but it's still worth mentioning. The noise cancelling and pass-through features on the Surface Headphones 2 aren't exactly quirk-free though. This isn't a big issue, but one thing I noticed was that my pair of headphones emits a slight white noise when the headphones are on. It's not noticeable when you're watching something or playing music, but it's definitely there when there's nothing coming through. As I mentioned before, you can avoid using Bluetooth altogether and plug in the included 3.5mm cable for some good old-fashioned wired listening. The noise cancellation and pass-through features will still work if you leave the headphones on, but if you turn them off, you'll lose everything, including the ability to control the volume of your device with the dial. All right, sound quality time. A good set of headphones is only ever as good as they sound. After all, that's the whole point of them. Overall, I was definitely not disappointed by the sound on this headset. All three areas, the low, the mids, the highs, are decent, and there's no distortion present in the audio until you get up into the upper echelons of volume. And up there, let me tell you, is not a place you want to stay for very long unless you want some serious hearing damage, because these things are as loud as heck. There's also minimal sound leakage too, so as long as you aren't sitting right next to somebody, you won't be bothering anyone with your loud music. While they do sound good for the price, it doesn't quite match the booming low end that the Sony XM3s can produce, and overall, I prefer the sound profile of those headphones more. Again though, there's a $100 difference between the two, so it's not a big deal this time around, and if you want more comparisons between these two headsets, let me know in a comment down below and I'll do a full comparison video with sound and noise cancellation tests in real world scenarios. The Surface Headphones 2 does support Qualcomm aptX this time, which is a definite improvement over the previous gen, but it doesn't seem to support a higher quality codec like LDAC. I experienced very little latency when watching videos on my phone or my iMac, which is great. The headphones also come with a companion app where you can change some of the settings and update the firmware of the headphones. There's also a pretty simple equalizer in here too if you want to refine the sound of the headset to your liking. So if we come all the way back to the title of this video, the change that was needed to make these headphones competitive was dropping the price, and Microsoft has done that. There are some small changes over the first edition, but nothing groundbreaking, and I think that's okay. The addition of more battery life and aptX support just means that Microsoft is giving us more this year for less, and I think that's a great move. The Surface Headphones 2 gets a solid thumbs up from me. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to support my channel, and as always, have a great day.